Hello, Scorpio. Welcome to your Moving On reading. Moving On is exactly that. It's a reading that looks at how we can move on. If you identify or resonate with this concept of, I know I'm supposed to move on, but I'm struggling with it. I'm stuck, I'm stagnant, I'm not making any strides. I know I'm supposed to leave XYZ behind, but I just can't. Or we're trying to move forward, we're trying to open something up and we're struggling with that, or we're trying to close something off and we're struggling with it. People, places, things, situations, circumstances, work, family, friends, connectivity in some way that suggests, I know I should do something about this, but I don't know how. Okay. That being said, all right, this is strictly a non-reversal reading. It is all about the self. Yes, I will see extenuating situations, circumstances, and people that influence us. Of course, that's true for any human being. The idea is, how are we dealing with it, or how are we not dealing with it, right? How are we holding ourselves accountable? Where do we need improvement? Where do we need to generate our own activity for ourselves in order to get on with it, to get out of the stuckness, okay? So again, strictly non-reversal. And saying that, knowing it's non-reversal when there's not a them or a they to kind of lean on or bank on, that can take people to some sensitive places. So if this is where we part ways, cool, I understand. It may not be a reading type. For those Scorpios who are interested in getting out of the stuckness, moving on, moving forward, etc., then this one's for you. All right. Let's be mindful of our comments, yeah? Cross-watchers say. The comments are open for the purposes of understanding, relating, resonating, sharing, insight. Okay, but it is not meant to be a place for people to dump their hot garbage. Okay? Be you part of the collective or a cross-watcher. I don't care. Let's do be careful. What's going on, please? What's going on, please? What's going on, please? For Scorpio moving on. Show me that Scorpio. Energy and moving on. Show me that Scorpio energy, please. Show me that Scorpio energy, please. And moving on. Four Cups. We need to get out of that for sure. 3 Cups underline that. All right, let's put down the rest of your cards and then we'll go over it. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Very good. All right. Honey, we got problems. We got the blues, but there's nothing that can't be cured here. Okay. Assuming you want to. The 4 Cups is an emotional pattern and it can become a little addictive. Okay. So again, the 4s represent the circle. Okay. Now that circle can be positive, such as the 4 of Wands, or it can be reinforcing negative, like the 4 of Pentacles or the 4 of Cups. And once you get stuck in that circuit, and some people are really good at getting stuck in that circuit, sometimes, yeah, it can become an emotional pattern. So here's the thing, what is it? You're saying straight away, 4 Cups. Christina, I'm emotionally upset, disappointed, aggrieved. Okay, disappointed. Disappointed in love, disappointed not just in the love context, guys. Cup is water. Cup is non-discriminatory. It doesn't have to be with a spouse, significant other, lover. It could be anyone whom you share an emotional pretext with. Okay? And the love going in and going out is not great. How we feel about this is not great. It suggests upset, disappointment. That's the it. And for some of you, you have been feeling like this for a while. You are aware of it. You're saying you're not aware of it, which is great. So that means you already have some insight on the subject. That's good. You're like, yeah, I know that. And I don't know how to stop being upset, Christina. Sad, disappointed. Okay. The first steps to crossing that bridge, to pull out of that lethargy, to pull out of that upsetness is, if you can believe it, is social engagement. And in this respect, I have to agree. Every sign has pros and cons. Okay? And sometimes our pros in and of themselves have cons. So one of our pros is actually to withdraw. Now, if you've ever tried to connect with a Scorpio at the intimate level, it actually drives those people crazy when Scorpio withdraws. It's actually a pro for us. We need breaks. We need a lot of emotional breaks because we're the water bearer, we're the Ace of Cups, so on and so forth, fixed water. And that fixed water sometimes needs a break and withdraw. So it's very common for Scorpios to go through isolation periods. However, if that Scorpio is not in tune with the process, it's very, easy to kind of stay in that withdrawal state. And that's where the 4 Cups stuckness gets in there. So in this respect, your pro has become your con. There's times when you need to emotionally isolate, and for some of you, you didn't come out of it. Okay? In other words, you didn't process those negative feelings the way you were supposed to. So the advice for you here, Three of Cups, is to actually re-engage socially. There you go. Can't say I'm surprised. Scorpio, you need to get back out there, hang out with friends, family. So Three of Cups just isn't about reconnecting, guys. It's about social engagement. Having a laugh, having a drink, easing up, okay? Allow yourself to emotionally socialize with people who are positive, okay? That have your interests at heart, or they just find good company in your company. You see what I'm saying? They're telling you, Scorpio honey, you want to get out of the sadness, you want to get out of the dumps, you want to get out of the Four of Cups pattern, and you know you probably should. They're telling you to re-engage in society. Start with the basics. Family, friends, social engagement. Lighten up a little bit. Okay. Yeah, I'm looking off to the side quite a bit today. I just, woo, my allergies are trying to come out and I keep anticipating to sneeze. So I think, oh, am I going to have to pull away? Okay. Feelings to confront the Emperor. Woo, we got some stubbornness in there. Some of you might be holding out for a point. Okay. So the Emperor, when he's used for ill, he just typically represents stubbornness. I'm holding out for a point. And since you opened up with the problems being a little down and a little sad, some of you are like, I am insisting upon this point. Okay. Some of you are insisting on holding out for a point, a principle concept, something that says, I need to be right on this or justified. Okay. In other words, you know, I'm feeling down and upset, and I'm feeling down and upset for a reason, and it's going to stay that way until my point is understood. But there's something here that says stubbornness is in place. These are feelings that you need to confront. You know, it immediately is reminding me of Dr. Phil. Regardless of your views on Dr. Phil, he makes a few good points. One of them being, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? And some of you are holding on to a point that, well, for you might be correct, but that's not exactly making you happy. Moving on. Hidden energies. Bang on what we're talking about today. Six of Swords. You have it within you to move on from this. This is feeling like a let it go type thing, which I know is easier said than done. I've had this talk with you before. It's infuriating when people say, let it go, because it sounds like a bad record, right? You're like, yeah. And at some point you go through a withdrawal because you don't want to hear it anymore. You don't want to hear it from you either. I should just let it go, but I can't let you know. So we have this running around energy behind you that's with you. You could Six of Swords this if you wanted to. It's within your hidden energies, but it's like you're not even seeing it as an option at this time. I'm not going to let it go. Your Emperor's reinforcing those negative feelings. He's like, I got a point and I'm sticking to it because I'm right and I know I'm right. So I have a right to be down. I have a right to be upset. You do. It's also a choice. So, do you have it within you to let it go and move on from this? 100%. Are you seeing it that way? Absolutely not. Not at this time. Ooh, we're looking at a stubborn Scorpio today, honey. Cheers. Aren't you glad I am one of us? It's easier hearing it from me, right? Isn't it? You know, when it's really aggravating when you hear other readers who are not that sign, it's like you don't get it. And I understand that. I do, because I really get where that's coming from. So I actually enjoy hearing other tarot readers read their sign because they're much more in tune with it. So when you hear the harder construct from somebody who isn't that sign, and it's like, you know, the interpretation's off because they're not in it, they don't understand it. Trust me, I know. So isn't it good to hear it from me? Strengths, Queen of Wands, babe, you got this. Babe, you got this. It's in your strengths. I know you're a passionate creature. Most Scorpios are. We're the hottest water sign there ever was. Okay. And I don't mean that in physical. That's not what I mean. It's like for a water sign, we run pretty darn hot. You know, and right now, you have to remember Emperor is also fire, i.e. Aries. So you have some very strong Aries in your chart. And right now your fire is going to a negative, stubborn place where it actually wants to be free, self-expressive, and much more light compared to where it's coming from. So it's within your strengths, honey, to turn that kind of literal frown upside down, to get out of the dumps and feel fiery, creative, passionate, and intense once more, you know. But that's within you. You have to be willing to move on and let this particular sticking point go. But we'll get back to that. Lessons that must be learned in order to move on successfully. Knight of Cups, something to do with your emotional expression. I'm going to go ahead and take a wild guess. Some of you were expressing yourself to the wrong people. Okay? And that led to this and the disappointment. But we'll get there upon clarification. Future, past, strengths. You'll be all right. You're going to be all right. Show yourself more strength. Show yourself emotional strength for that matter. Okay? All right, let's get cracking. Show me that Four of Cups, please. Show me that Four of Cups. Show me that Four of Cups. Show me that Four of Cups. Show me that Four of Cups, please. Show me that Four of Cups, please. Show me that Four of Cups for Scorpio. I know it. Okay. Two of Wands, the Six of Swords, the Ten. Yeah, honey, you're looking at this and you're like, I know it's in you. Six of Swords is twice. It would make you incredibly happy to move on, but you haven't done. You haven't done. Oh, your Emperor's being a right pain. Always being a right stubborn pain. This is what happens when we use him incorrectly. It's like he's an enforcer, guys. He stands for self-empowerment when used correctly, but when used incorrectly, it's anti-empowerment. He comes across as a sticking point, and that's all he's really good for. I refuse to budge on this particular subject. You know, so he can either be the rock or the hard place, you know. But you know you're supposed to move on, honey. You know it. You feel it. You got that Four Cups rocking. You honey, you got something else for you over here, Ten of Cups, but it's like you can't see it or you can't feel it. You got an emotional support system. That's beautiful. You know you're meant to let this go and find succor, okay, with your Ten of Cups. Again, that's the overarching emotional concept or construct of your intimate emotional circles, people that show up consistently in your life, family, friends, that kind of thing. And you're looking at it. It's taken me a long time to move on from this, Christina. I know it's because you're holding out for a particular point. And it upsets you. The more you hold out for that particular point, the more you feel that kind of internal pressure to move on, don't you? That there's other things waiting out there for you that would make you happy to engage in it. And that's even your advice, too, to crossing that particular bridge, is to re-engage with what's positive and works, not with what doesn't. And you keep re-engaging with something that doesn't emotionally work, not for you, be it with someone else or just within yourself. Okay? They're telling you to re-engage with what's positive, not with what's negative. You know you're supposed to let this go. Okay? Let's keep cracking. It's like you are waiting on you to let this go. You're like, I'm not done yet. I'm not done. I'm not done. When is done ready for you? Because if he's just here waiting for the indicator of done, he can be waiting a long time. What is it that you need to let go of? It's not serving you. You're holding on to it, stubbornly so. It's a sticking point, and it doesn't seem to serve you or get you anywhere. See that Three of Cups? Your first steps to crossing that particular bridge. Connect with who matters. That celebrates you, love you. They want you to come out of the dark. Okay. So that you can remember there's a whole life beyond whatever the heck this point is. Show me that Three of Cups, please. Page of Cups, the Emperor. That's how we want to use our Emperor. I completely agree. See, you have an alternative here. I know you're used to being strong-willed. Scorpio, I'm looking at, you're fantastically strong-willed. Typically what you say goes, right? Except for one particular element that's chafing you. And that element is really grinding your gears. Here's the thing. The Emperor is not satisfied with that particular point, but he could be elsewhere. The Emperor can remember what works in social connectivity instead of focusing on what doesn't work in your emotional and or social connectivity. And he keeps looking at everything that's wrong instead of looking at everything that's right. And you have a lot of right surrounding you, and it's kind of like your Emperor has gotten severely distracted, okay, about what matters. This is exactly what we're saying. The first bridge, okay, crossing that bridge. The first step here to crossing that bridge is to literally put work into your social connections that are positive, not holding out and making a sanctuary to negative emotions. You have a whole world beyond whatever the hell this is. That's positive, delightful, healthy, and engages you, your Emperor, correctly. This is what I would like to stand up for. This is what I'd like to put the best of my work into. You're clearly an influence in people's lives. Clearly. People think very well of you, and they enjoy your company. The right people, the good people. And for some reason, your Emperor is holding out for, but what about that? What about that? What about that situation, honey? What about that person? They're not part of this construct. That's because it doesn't work. That's why you're supposed to let it go, but for some reason, he's holding out. Let's go over there and take a look at that guy. I mean, your advice is pretty straightforward. Connect with the people who actually want to connect with you, and you want to put the best of your energy into, that you can actually open your heart towards for all the right reasons, and that you would stand up and feel empowered by. You're clearly well thought of. You're clearly loved. But it's kind of, but their love is not what I'm trying to, their love's not important. And the thing that's disappointing you the most is, let's think about that. Okay. Feelings to confront. Let's see this guy. Let's see that Emperor, please. Let's see that Emperor. What cups do you feed, honey? The ones that don't feed you or the ones that do? Okay. So I don't know what cup you're nursing that's not responding well to you and you to it. But instead of starving it, leaving it alone, you're looking at it saying, I'm still disappointed by it, despite the fact that you have other cups that are overflowing for you, that are actually healthy for you. That's very true, isn't it, of life? Okay? In terms of commentary, you'll very rarely remember, not always, but rarely do you remember someone's compliments. But you'll always remember the negative ones, right? And it's kind of like you have become fixated on a negative feeling. And you're not saying the ones that are positive and healthy for you. A 10 of Pentacles, 6 of Pentacles, 6 of Cups. Wow, feelings to confront. That's a lot of powerful energy in there. You have so much beauty in you and so much strength of will and conviction in you. 10 of Pentacles, 6 of Pentacles, that's not play energy. You have built empires, okay? And you have built empires with somebody here that's special and or unique to you with that 6 of Cups. They could have been right there building with you this whole time. That's what they say you need to put your Emperor focus on. You have so much goodness surrounding you, so much strength and vitality surrounding you. You have a whole world in here. Literally, your foundation is on maintenance mode, which is to say it's not just successful, it's flourishing, and it's en route to stay that way for the foreseeable future. In other words, it's prosperous, and it has no signs of slowing down anytime soon. Okay, that's fantastic. Typically, I see people working towards their foundation. Yours is like it's already in place, and it's going to continue to be in place. And with 6 of Cups. So it's looking like you built a whole world with somebody very special and unique to you. And the feelings you need to confront here is your Emperor needs to focus on that. Okay. This is what counts. They keep redirecting you to the healthy energy over and over again, for which apparently this Scorpio is quite abundant in healthy energy, both in your 3D as well as in your emotional world. I wanted to see what was the sticking point for this Emperor. It's almost like whatever this is that makes you upset, that you're supposed to move away from, you've done it all but on the emotional level. There's something here that's still attached to you, that still upsets you, but as far as I can tell, it's not in any way in conjunction with your life. Everything that's in your life already in play is magnificent, beautiful, bold, prosperous. It looks like it's just getting started, to be honest with you. And that's beautiful. I don't know who that 6 of Cups is to you, but they're part of your world. And they're very close to you. They're part of it. You build the life around them or with them. Okay? That could be anybody from a spouse to someone who's very close to your empire world. It could be a child. I don't know. But it's high functioning and it's in play. And it's not going anywhere anytime soon. Feelings you need to confront. This is priority. This is priority. Putting the best of you into high-functioning, healthy relationships. I gotta see the Six of Swords. What is it you're having such a hard time letting go when you have all this intensity and beauty surrounding you? Stability. The stability is through the roof. The support is through the roof. And yet you become fixated on one cup that disappoints you to this day. What the hell is it? Show me the Six of Swords, please. Perhaps not fixated, but it definitely distracts you in a mental and emotional way. Show me that Six of Swords, please. Show me that Six of Swords. Show me that Six of Swords. I think that Knight of Cups is going to give me a big clue there. But let's see your Six of Swords. Your hidden energies is that you have the ability here, completely 100%, to completely disengage from this. Eight of Wands, the Lovers, Nine of Cups. Yes, there it is. I need to start doing it more. I keep saying things before they hit the table, which is great, but it doesn't mean anything unless I say it, unless I call it. But yeah, I knew the Lovers was going to drop. It's okay. I know you miss them. You could miss somebody. I know this sounds strange. You're showing me disappointment, upset, and hurt. And otherwise a Scorpio that's killing it. And I was even pushing back on you. Look at everything. Your garden is in... You have more... Honey, you have so many gardens in bloom. And that's because they're surrounding a castle. You have built a lot. And it's thriving. Don't lose sight of that. For a connection that I grant you is very powerful. And it spoke to you very clearly. I kind of get it. It spoke to you as an individual as opposed to, say, an emperor, someone who has a great deal of duty and responsibility to family and foundation. It spoke to you as an individual. It's like you can put your emperor self aside for that connection, and you were just able to feel like you. It felt good. That Lover's connection, it felt really good. It didn't make you feel like you had to be an emperor. You felt like an individual who, for a little while, got to take some sort of pleasure from your lover. It made you personally feel good outside of family duty and responsibility. I told you, whatever this is, you're struggling to let it go mentally and emotionally. They're not in your world at all. Not that I see. They're not in your world. You know that. You're still holding out a point that you're disappointed in it, but you also miss them. This is going to sound weird. I'm about to say some mind-blowing shit to you. You want to hear it? You can separate I miss you from I'm disappointed. You can. One does not mean or begets the other. Just because you miss somebody doesn't mean you have to continue to carry feelings of disappointment either. In fact, usually it's one and the same, but we often confuse it. Because I can miss somebody, they're not in my life anymore. I can confuse that with sadness and depression and disappointment. They can actually be completely separated. So when you you have those moments, and I can see why, baby. I get it. I do. I understand this. I do. It's in your hidden... You even opened up with it. I know I'm supposed to let this go, Christina. I have something greater surrounding me at all times. And I see why you struggle with it. This... Whatever this connection is, the Lovers, the Eight of Wands, and the Nine of Cups, it felt like it was just for you and nobody else. You didn't have your Emperor hat on. You weren't dictating this. You didn't have to make it into a function. You know. It just felt like it was for you. That powerful connection. This is just for me. It's special to me, and it makes me feel like an individual. It makes me feel alive. And it doesn't... I don't owe it to anybody in my foundation. I don't owe it to anyone in my family. This is just for me. Look at that individual energy there. Nine of Cups. It made you feel so good. To communicate with it, to express yourself towards it. You have to move on from it. Honey, you can take those feelings with you. Okay? Part of letting go is to not hate something like this, to be angry with it. This is to acknowledge it. Just acknowledge it. Okay? Brilliant advice. Resistance is persistence. The more you resist the negativity attached to this or the positivity attached to this, it's always going to feel like an attack every time a feeling pops up. Don't resist the feeling. When the memories come sweeping in, and they will, of the good times you had with this person, allow them to flow through. And when the negative ones pop up, allow those to flow through too. Don't resist them. Don't get rigid. The Emperor here is trying to control that feeling and sticking out to that particular point for that reason, which is most likely why you've had a hard time letting it go. You know, instead of becoming flexible and relaxed when those feelings hit, you got rigid and tight. The Emperor's trying to preserve that sense of empowerment, when all it really does is reinforce the negativity. You can separate I miss them from sadness. And when you do feel either sad or reminiscent or love for this energy, just allow it to flow through you, have that moment, and get on with it. And that's one of the many components here to letting somebody go. Allow the feelings to pass through. Cry if you need to cry. Who cares? Cry if you need to cry. Smile if you need to smile when you have a happy memory. But don't deny it. It just reinforces the negativity. It makes it that much harder for you to quote-unquote move on from it, is because you're not allowing it to. Every time you reject the feelings or the memories, it just kind of jolts you when they eventually come through. And they will come through. So this person, as far as I can tell, is not in your real world. But they are very much in your spiritual and emotional world, and they always will. A lover's connection like that, you will always feel it in some way, and they will always feel you in some way. And it's going to give a jerk reaction to you both. Okay? But you have so much more surrounding you. I get why you were attached to this. Very much so. It's nice to be a unique person. This pleasure, this connection, and everything I get from it is just for me. I don't have to share it with anybody, and I don't have to manage it. I don't have to be responsible for it. I don't have to build anything out of it. It just feels right, very right. I know. So if you managed to build all this without your lover, if you did all this on your own back, congratulations to you. I can see why that energy felt so much more individual or unique to you. This person's not part of any of this. They're just for me. And a part of them will always be just for you. Okay? That's what it is to have a lover's connection. Let's keep on. Show me that Queen of Wands, please, is your strength. Let's see that Queen of Wands, please. Just to, Judgment, 4 Cups. That's what I'm saying, 2 of Swords. This unhappiness, it's a lesson you need to learn. The more you act confused about it, resist it, or try not to see it, it just reinforces that 4 Cups, as we just said. Frankly, I should have started here. Your strengths is that you have the energy, very much so, bold and bright as you are, to push past this. I want you to soften your energy. The Emperor needs to be in place for your foundation, for your skills, your work, and then also you're clearly a figurehead in your family dynamic and possibly friend dynamic. Like I said, they look to you and they don't even think twice about it. I don't think very many people question you. People seek out your judgment, your consultation, and that's why, again, you were so attached to your lover. It's like it was just for me on a private, emotional, made me feel good level, and I didn't have to worry about the construct of it. I know that lover's connection took you out of a place of responsibility and put you into a place of individuation. This makes me feel so good, and it's just for me. I don't have to worry about anyone else. This is what it is on its own. I didn't have to work for it. It's just here. Oh, join me. This is just mine, right? I get it. But you have the strength to move past it. So there's that 4 Cups again, that lousy, stinking 4 Cups. 2 of Swords, the Judgment. This is your lesson. And they're saying, with passion, that's true to you. Soften up your energy. Go from Emperor to the Queen of Wands. And allow those feelings to pass through in that moment. And that way they don't feel so severe. Okay? The more you resist, the more those feelings will persist, and that's all they want to do is just flow through. That's how you know you're letting go, is that you stop resisting them and you just allow it to flow through. Accept it for what it is. Thank that moment for what it is, and then move on about your business. I promise it will pass. And you will have many sessions of that, many, especially if you're that Scorpio who's used to resisting the negativity, or you feel you have to be strong about it, more to the point. Okay, Knight of Cups. Knight of Cups, please. Lessons that you need to learn in order to really move forward. Some of that Knight of Cups, please. And it's something to do with your emotional expression. Some of that Knight of Cups. How you express yourself, how you engage at the love level. Nine of Pentacles, Temperance, Death. You really need to have a stronger understanding of how you love yourself as an individual. Okay, I have to kind of agree here. When you bonded heavily with that connection, you showed me individual. I'm very proud of this because it makes me feel, well, I don't want to say it makes me feel like a woman, but you know what I mean. It made you feel like just a man, or it made you feel like a woman, and it was your own right. A strong connection just for you, and it had no responsibility attached to it. It was some sort of lover's connection. I don't know what your obligations were to it, if at all. I just know that when it was there, it felt really good. And they're saying you need to understand that through this whole process, the Knight of Cups, even while you're expressing your love for it or professing your love for it, what you were really doing is learning how to love yourself better. You know, you had time to transform through this. Remember that however you express yourself and whatever love you develop for someone else needs to be a healthy expression of you first and foremost. Okay, so it's not that connection was wrong, it's just understand that whatever love you bore for this, it really stems from you. You can love yourself as an individual too. You didn't need a lover for that. Maybe that's what their sole purpose was. It's weird, right? It's weird, right? When you sit on the throne that much and you're killing it in your 3D that much, you don't really, at some point you stop seeing yourself as an individual, right? You become a figurehead, or it feels like you do, and you stop seeing the individuation that is you, that your heart has its own kind of free reign, right? That you can love somebody as an individual because you want to. There's no obligation attached to it as far as I can tell. It just felt good. And realize that love for you is first and foremost. However it is you expressed your love to this person, you were showing love to yourself too. You know? And this was a transformative experience, and it required temperance and patience and healing. Healing for you specifically, Nine of Pentacles. You had to really go back to the drawing board and that sense of self. I think this connection, whatever it is, really helped you get reconnected with you as an individual and not just an emperor. Okay. And that was no easy thing. But understand, however much you love this person, your lesson of moving forward is to understand the love came from you first. The love that you have for yourself came first. You can love yourself as an individual. And perhaps it took a lover for you to see that. You forgot what it's like to be a person, full of love, joy, and easiness. Nothing that you had to control or take command of. It just existed. You exist too as a person. So mind you, however it is you share your cup with someone in the future, understand that you have to love yourself first. You know. Whoever it is you express your love to, understand it's just an extension of what you should feel for yourself first. Without authority behind it, sense of responsibility, or I have to. Strength. And your future path. Three of Pentacles, Seven of Wands, Five of Swords. Okay, good. Okay. We are blocking in your immediate future any sense of poor constructs, self-sabotaging constructs. We are issuing those, shoving those off, or we won't participate in them in future. There's something here about deceptive constructs you say you will never participate in again. Okay. That's interesting. No more false friends. If it's not cooperative, if it's not a building block structure where there's equal contribution, you will never participate in that again. You're saying I'm going to be much more aware of how I build things with people from now on. It's interesting. I don't feel like this Emperor is rarely shook, but this connection clearly shook you. And it made you think that in future, with strength and resolve and strong sense of will, you will better be able to understand and identify false constructs, specifically false friendships. Okay. No more falseness on any future endeavors that you construct with anyone. Okay. If you have a stronger sense of love for yourself and understand that when you choose to love someone, okay, when you choose to express your feelings to someone, what you're doing is honoring yourself first, and understand that the love has to come from you first. Okay? This person didn't just generate that in you. They helped make you realize it. If that's the purpose it served, then that's the purpose it served. But you're saying you'll never do any sort of false constructs or faux friendships ever again. Basically, any kind of construction that's built on lies and defensiveness or walls. If you have to talk yourself into something or talk yourself out of something, neither one of those is really good. It should be kind of straightforward on the upfront, no matter how much it might make you feel. You're saying it has to be straightforward, upfront, building blocks, step by step. Okay, you have a beautiful, I don't know if I emphasize that enough, but you have a beautiful world where there's much love, support, and joy, and you are very well thought of. And so things will unfold as they are meant to. So when I can see why you have a hard time giving this lover up, at least mentally and emotionally, I get it. It helps you remind you of love and passion and all those other things outside your very heavily padded resume energy. Very successful, prosperous, steady, level-headed, killing it resume energy. It reminded you that you're an individual being that wants love and passion and desires like anyone else. But there was something about it that you understood. You're putting love into it. Might have been a faulty construct. Okay. And that the love was coming from you first, not from them, but from you first. And it's a good, strong representation of you and how you love yourself. Okay. Not how much you love them. You got to get rid of that thinking. I love them so much. You loved yourself so much that you no doubt had to end it. It takes love to end something. It takes love of yourself to end something. You have to know that you love yourself so much more than it or the situation or that person. Especially if you know it was built on a faulty construct, and I get why. It's powerful. But you do have to love yourself so much more to end something, because you know it's not right for you, as good as it might have made you felt. Around March, some of you it was over last March. For some of you, next March will be significant. But yes, it was interesting. Around March, I was in reverse. It was over around March for some of you. Distract you, don't pay attention to time, and 6 months from now, many of you will have completely transitioned over into finality within 6 months, or hopefully less than that. But yeah, in terms of really having moved on from this, you've got so much going for you. Just acknowledging the feelings, allowing them to pass through. It is what it is. Allow yourself to feel what it needs to feel instead of rejecting it. That will help clear up the rest of that 4 cups. You've already done a heck of a job. Okay. Okay, Scorpio, honey, I think that's about it. I hope this helped you. You put in the comments as you see fit. Take care. Be well.